Algebra! Of course you are. Okay, let's do some factoring today. Yay! It's my favorite time of year. Oh, we already did that part this year, but we're going to go back over it today. Everyone's favorite, including mine, is factoring. And the first part of factoring, you guys did great with when we went over this in the beginning. So let's go over it again. And make sure that you write down the notes and let's repractice, okay? So without further ado, let's factor each of these. Remember, factoring means that we're going to put the parentheses back in. And so something to remind you of is the first thing you're really looking for is a greatest common factor. And if there's not one, then you have to do the next following rule. So if you take a look here, remember, there's an imaginary 1 in front of this first term. So automatically already the greatest common factor is 1, which big deal. If we take a 1 out, everything is the same. So the good news though is that if that is the case, that we have a 1 in front here, we simply need to find factors of 30 that add to 11. What I mean by that is I need to find two numbers that will multiply to get 30, but add to get 11. Wow, I can write today. Apparently I cannot. So what two numbers multiply to get 30, but add to get 11? Ding, 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 5 and 6. Okay, so the numbers we come up with are 5 and 6. And so the way we factor this then is we put it into binomials where we say, okay, x is our first term, right? Because when we redo this, we would end up doing x times x in our boxes, okay? And positive 5 and positive 6 is what we get for our next terms. Now, if you wanted to check that, which you could, if you're being super thorough, you could do the box method and make sure that you get out what you originally had as your question here. So x plus 5 and x plus 6. And if you do that, x times x is x squared, 6 times x is 6x, x times 5 is 5x, and 5 times 6 is 30. If you write that back out, you get x squared. Combine these two, plus 11x, plus 30. And that's what you started with. Woohoo! Okay, let's practice again. Same thing. Really, you're looking for a GCF here. This is a 1, so automatically your GCF has to be 1, but the good news is we can jump right into finding our factors. So this time we're looking for what multiplies to get 32, but adds to get negative 12. Okay, two numbers that multiply to get positive 32 and add to get negative 12. Okay, think, think, think. Ding, 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 it's gotta be negative 8 and negative 4, because a negative times a negative will give you a positive, and a negative plus a negative will give you a negative. So when we factor it, our answer is, again, x is our first term for both, and we're going to say x minus 8 and x minus 4 this time. And again, if you wanted to put these into the box and see if you get this original out, that is how you would check your answer. Okay, last but not least, and again, these questions are all the same. I just am mixing up whether we have plus plus, minus plus, and now I have minus minus. So again, we're starting with a 1 here as our coefficient, so there is no GCF to look for. We're now jumping right into what multiplies to get negative 14, but adds to get negative 5. Think, 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 think. Oh, I know. Negative 7 and positive 2. Okay, so this is the one where mistakes sometimes get made because -7 times +2 is -14, where it gets a little bit weird, right? If I had switched that around, don't do this, but what if I said positive or -2 and +7? That still multiplies to get -14, but if you add those together, you would get +5. Okay, and so that doesn't work. So that's a nope, don't want that one. We want this one. Okay, so our final answer then is two binomials. Again, both starting with x. And we're going to say x minus 7 and x plus 2. And that's our final answer. Okay, hopefully you guys all remembered doing that in the first place. But if not, that was a nice little refresher, and that will get you ready to start quadratics when you get into 9th grade next year and you're taking Algebra 2. So good luck with this one. If you have any questions, email me, and I'll be right there to help you out. Hopefully you guys are getting on through this. We are almost done. Almost done. Okay, I shall see you all soon. Maybe not really see you, but